it going, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. There were some unexpected twists and turns this week, and I am happy to discuss them with you. I am keeping it a little bit shorter because I'm still recovering from this awful spring cold, but let's get into it anyways. These last few months, since making Harmony a more prominent character on the show, giving Inga a contract on the show, I've been questioning why, because for the first few months, they only really made her out to be Alexis's friend, but then they, of course, had the twist of Harmony not really being Willow's mom, which wasn't really a twist. I mean, we all saw it coming, and we knew that they were going to touch base on it eventually. It appears that there is a pattern forming with Harmony because there is a new story that has fallen onto Harmony's lap, and that story is Neil's death. In case you guys had forgotten, Alexis's last love interest, Neil, literally died in her bed, and it was said to be a drug overdose, that the character had a secret drug addiction. And while the audience was a bit skeptical on that, we kind of accepted that that might be the story that they were going to go with and that it would be dropped and not really looked into. A lot of that had to do with the fact that GH had just gotten back from their hiatus with the pandemic. On top of that, the actor found new work, so they thought that they would just instantly kill off the character and he'd be a victim of Cyrus's drugs. But we always thought there could be a little more story if the writers had decided to kind of go more with it, but the character wasn't really on for that long, so I feel like the show probably thought that the audience wouldn't care one way or the other, and really we didn't. But they are bringing back the story to the forefront. As a favor to Harmony, Alexis allowed her to move into her house because TJ and Molly were moving out and Harmony had been living in a motel, so she offered her place to stay. By the way, did we ever get confirmation that Christina moved out of the house? I mean, I'm assuming she did, but was it ever established on screen that she had in the past? Because I don't remember. Anyway, while they were having dinner, Harmony accidentally spills her drink and she seemed to know exactly where the cleaning supplies were, which made Alexis a little bit suspicious and questioned her on it. Harmony had explained that she had been to the house before, back when Christina was in dawn of day, and she just felt uncomfortable bringing that up to her. And Alexis kind of goes with the story, although she still is a little bit suspicious. Shortly after that, we had a scene of Harmony recalling that back in August of 2020, she went into Alexis's house and killed Neil with a syringe. We don't know exactly why, but I'm going to assume it has something to do with Cyrus for no, because we know that she was working for him at the time. But there definitely seems to be even more to the story. Neil's brother is back in town. We met him once before during Neil's celebration of life, where he blamed Alexis for his death, and he still does apparently. On top of that, he seems to be familiar with Harmony. Not that she was familiar with him, but he does seem to have a file on her for some reason, and we see him looking at that file as we get this really eerie scene of Harmony in like a half-lit silhouette sort of lighting situation behind Alexis. It made her look really evil. Super creepy. I'm curious to know what your guys' theories on Harmony is. Why do you think she killed Neil, or why do you think Cyrus had her do it, if in fact it was Cyrus that made her do it? Let me know in the comments below. Now, they are still showcasing and making it more and more obvious that Willow is definitely Nina's child and that Harmony definitely knows about it. As you guys know, Nina has been trying to team up with Harmony so that they can have more time with their grandchild, and Harmony actually tries to go up to bat for Nina and, of course, visits Willow and Michael, and they don't budge on their position. She brings the news back to Nina, and Nina just proceeds to trash Willow, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, or at least you think, that this woman is Willow's mom, and you're trashing her to her mom? This woman is practically a stranger to you. What are you doing? She's sitting there insulting her and saying things like Willow is weak, and Harmony's like, she's as strong as her mother, and Nina's just like, no, you're so much stronger than she is. Harmony was just sitting there like, ah. It was so funny. Nina, if you only knew the truth. Anyway, with that plan being a bust, Nina decides that she needs to go to court after all, and she recruits Scott's help reluctantly. And normally I'd be mocking his abilities as a lawyer. However, we kind of need him to be a good one, not for Wiley, but for Trina. It was a rough week for Trina, but a great week for Tabiana Ali, who is the new actress that plays her. She is doing such a fantastic job. I am proud of her. Trina was brought in for questioning for the revenge porn video, and she was willing to answer all of Jordan's questions and even let her dig into her bag, which was probably a mistake because she found the phone that Esme had planted in that bag along with Trina's other phone. And of course, Trina has no idea where the second phone came from. Unfortunately, that second phone does have ties to the video video, and Trina gets arrested for it. Thankfully, pretty much the entire town believes that Trina is innocent and that Esme framed her in some way, which I'm relieved about, including Joss and Cam. I was worried about that, but they are staying by Trina's side. Proving it, however, is probably going to be difficult, not because Esme is that good, but because the writers are probably going to dumb down characters that would usually solve this in a heartbeat, like Spinelli, the assassin of the internet. Where is he? He would tie the phone back to her in seconds. Sunny actually had her kidnapped and tried to force a confession out of her, and she probably would have done that if she didn't have Nicholas eating out of her hands. This girl was working overtime to gain sympathy from Nicholas, and it worked. She had mentioned to Nicholas just beforehand that Sunny might be out to get her, and when he realized that Esme had gone missing, he and Victor went straight to Sunny's sort of coffee house or bar, wherever, that restaurant. The restaurant that never has anybody in it. And when they got there, of course, Esme screamed and cried for help and ran right into Nicholas's arms. Victor even put Sunny on notice. The reason Victor is protecting her is because he found out from Spencer that she might be carrying his child. And we know how the Cassadines feel about potential heirs. Now, there is one person's reaction to Trina's arrest that has me a little bit confused, and that is Spencer Cassadines. When he found out that she was arrested, he was having flashbacks of the moments where he was trying to confront Esme on the revenge porn tape and how she dodged the question. So in my head, it seems like he was putting the pieces together. But when he visits Trina at the PCPD, he asks her why she did it. And I was like, huh? I don't know if the writers just forgot what they wrote the day before, or if Spencer is devising his own plan to maybe make Trina think that he believes that she did it, so that Esme might slip up and tell him the truth. One can only hope. Since Nicholas rescued Esme from Sunny, he thinks it's best that she moves into Windermere along with Spencer, so they move back into Windermere. And while they're there, Spencer is treating her like dirt. I mean, he is saying that he thinks that she is obsessed with Trina, and he even questions why she hasn't taken that pregnancy test yet. And I love this. He actually says, "Are you scared that you might be pregnant or that you might not be?" I'm like, ooh, Spencer might know what's up. Sadly, I do think she's gonna figure out a way to fake that pregnancy though. I don't know how, but she'll probably figure it out. Now, Nicholas didn't tell Ava that he moved Esme and Spencer back into Windermere. And as you guys know, Ava is a mama bear to Trina, and she thinks that Esme framed her too. Now, if these mobsters can't get the better of Esme, then this storyline is rigged, because pretty much everyone that's involved in this Trina storyline has dealt with Nell, who Esme is pretty much Nell 2.0 to all these people. Even Jocelyn has said so. Esme is not going to convince any single one of these people that she is a good person. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Scott Baldwin is Trina's lawyer, and he thinks that she has a good case because there are a lot of people standing with Trina, including the two victims, Joss and Cameron. Trina decides to plead not guilty and is willing to go to trial for this. It felt a little bit awkward because Molly is the ADA and is going against Trina, even though I'm sure she doesn't believe Trina did it. It's hard to see Molly in this light. Like, this is the first time we're actually seeing Molly in a courtroom. And they have her going against Trina. Like, oh man, that sucks. She does kind of pull Curtis to the side and says that she hopes it's not awkward because she's just doing her job and her personal feelings in the matter don't matter here. But Molly, you probably could have or should have excused yourself in this case, because you don't mess with our Trina girl. Also, there is a new cop in the PCPD, and he seems to be a little bit smitten with Trina. Seems a little bit out of the blue, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but at the very least, I am sensing that we are going to see a very jealous Spencer in the near future, and it's going to rub Esme the wrong way. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about that character yet. I think his name is Rory, and honestly, the first episode he was in, I thought it was a bit weird that he handed her a Coke, but whatever. If it helps Spencer see what he's missing in Trina, then I guess I'm for it. Neil's death and Trina's arrest were kind of the main focus of the show this week, but we did see that Brando and Sasha were back in town and everyone was ready to celebrate their marriage. However, Sasha still has her drug problem. Deception is getting ready for their party on April 5th, and they open up a folder that has a picture of Sasha pregnant for the cover of the Conception article in the magazine a few months back. She couldn't have ran out of the room fast enough and got on her cell phone and called for her dealer. This girl is a mess, yo. Also, Lucy really wanted Chase to sing one of Brooklyn's songs with Amy for the Deception party, and Brooklyn was too shy to ask him at first because she has feelings for him and she wants to kind of avoid him a little bit so that they can stay friends. Eventually she works up the courage to ask him, but he declines because it's not a charity thing, whereas the nurse's ball was. I'm really here for this game of cat and mouse. I like this slow burn with Brooklyn and Chase. I'm rooting for them to be together, but I'm okay at the pace that it's happening. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to end the video here, but let me know in the comments below your thoughts and feelings and theories on this week's General Hospital. Just so you guys know, I won't be live streaming this Wednesday. I am taking a little bit of a hiatus from the live streams just because I've got a lot going on in my personal life at the moment, but we will live stream at least once this month, and I will let you know exactly when that happens. In the meantime, you can join me on Sundays for this show, and if you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.